keep chatting, that's good too. Or take some food to your seats. I'm Max Garbarino, the current city manager of Hamtramck. Welcome everyone to the annual DDA Merchants meeting. I would like to introduce our mayor who is here. I would like to say a few words. Mayor, would you come up?
Hello everyone, good evening. This wasn't planned for, but I was just asked to speak now. So I want to take this opportunity and welcome you all to our great museum of Hamtramck. I see some guests from outside of Hamtramck, from other cities. I want to welcome you to Hamtramck. Thanks for joining us today to the annual merchant meeting. This is my first time also to be here. I wish you enjoy it, and I hope it will be a productive meeting for all of us. For those guests from outside of Hamtramck, I think you know about Hamtramck. In my last visit to Washington, D.C., whenever I mentioned Hamtramck, everybody knew about Hamtramck. So, yeah, we made international news, in the past 2 years, so much, enough to be recognized everywhere. So, as you know, this is our museum. If you have any question, we have Greg here to explain anything for you, if you want, about this historic pictures that you see on the wall from different countries. And as you know, our city is only 2.2 square miles, the whole world in 2.2 square miles. It's a very diverse city, very dense city, the most walkable city in Michigan. There was an article about that. I think it's true. Our population, unlike other cities, keep growing up. It went up by 29% over the past 10 years. So these are some facts about Hamtramck, and if you have any question, feel free to ask any of us here. And I wish you again a productive meeting, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you so much again for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. As most of you know, because I know a lot of you here, I'm the current city manager. For those of you I don't know, hopefully I can meet you before we leave. I run the day-to-day in City Hall and am responsible for instituting our mayor and council's vision. With that said, the city, in my opinion, has been rock and rolling this past year. There's a lot going on. We believe this summer, everywhere you turn, you're going to see construction between Kniff, alleys, water mains, you name it, it's happening. Parks Conservancy's firing up with the parks. For the first time in a really long time, we have a balanced non-deficit budget, which is amazing. Took mayor and council, got through that, got it all scored away, and we're very hopeful for the future. All kinds of good things going on, including filling of staff, increasing our DPW, something you guys might like being in the DDA. We bought a street sweeper, so our own. So that's coming hopefully in June. Our mayor and council wanted that, and we made it happen. And we're going to have our own crews out there doing it, so hopefully we can get these streets clean. As you know, and probably maybe got some warnings, our code enforcement is kicking butt out there. We have the most we've ever had in the time I've been here in over 20 years. So I'm seeing a difference. So with that, if you have anything from City Hall you need, I'm available most days, and I can certainly put you in touch with our mayor and council if you want to talk to them as well. And with that said, I want to turn this over to Ahmad, our DDA chair.
Thanks. Thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate the turnout, and to our vendors that came out of their way and spend time with us tonight. We appreciate it. We appreciate your donation to this wonderful museum. I do want to thank our DDA department within the city, Carolyn and her team, Alessandra, for putting on a wonderful event tonight, and all our board members and our committee members for helping out too. Thank you all for that. Thank you to our great business owners here in Hamtramck. Some of us are newer to Hamtramck. Myself, I'm one of the co-owners of Nice Price on Joseph Combo. We've been here since 2020, so we're fairly new in the city, and we appreciate everything about it. I have to say this place is special. When I first joined the DDA, Joan, our wonderful Joan from next door from the Polish Art, she said, "Ahmad, you can't know anything about Hamtramck if you don't come to the museum." So she gave me a private tour here, as you can see, a lot of beautiful murals on the wall and a lot of beautiful, things that are from City Hall and elsewhere in the city. So if you get a chance, please check them out. Read some of the labels, pretty interesting stuff. Stuff up there. With that, I don't really have much. Our theme here is Shop Hamtramck today. The idea is we have a lot of wonderful businesses in Hamtramck that have stuck out the bad and the good. And we said, how can we, with our limited budget, how can we help these businesses? And the idea was to bring resources to the city. Resources from organizations like Prosper Us and Global Detroit and the American Chamber of Commerce and similar organizations out there. So whether it's the DDA, city, or our great mayor has been doing a great marketing for our businesses here in Hamtramck. So I guess with that, I'll just say we're here to help. If any business has any questions or they want to grow or they want to add anything to their business, please reach out. Reach out to City Hall DDA department, reach out to one of the board members, and we'll be happy to help. You can go to our website and find out the board members that serve on the DDA. With that, I'll turn over to the American Chamber of Commerce. They're going to speak briefly for 2 or 3 minutes, and then the other two organizations.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank the museum and their staff for having us here today. The DDA for sure, definitely. Carolyn and Alessandro. I usually forget a lot of names, but I guess your name stuck out in my mind, and I appreciate it. So my background is a little bit, I work for Wayne County Economic Development. I also do IT as well for Wayne County. So I got to know this fine gentleman here next to me. He's the founder and chairman of the American Chamber of Commerce. And this year is very special for us because we're going to celebrate 10th year in business. So. I don't want to forget a fine gentleman that helps whenever we need him, although he's got a part-time job like everyone else and kids to take care of, I'm sure, but he always finds the time whenever we need him to volunteer. Thank you, Adnan. We appreciate you. In addition to that, so what does the chamber do, right? So we advocate for small businesses. We try to retain businesses, expand businesses, and grow businesses. How do we advocate? If there's an issue or challenge, the best way to get to do that is to actually go there in person. I know COVID put a little damper on that, but we still did reach out to them through emails, you guys did a great job. I wasn't a part of it because I was busy with the county work, but they actually went and distributed, the emergency kits and, gloves and what have you to small businesses and the community as a whole in Hamtramck, and that's a testament to the commitment that the chamber has to not only Hamtramck but the small business in general. And the DDA definitely plays a big role. And me and my kids, we live in Canton, but we like to eat in Hamtramck, believe it or not. So so we do come here to Hamtramck, and it's not just the food, it's the fact that when you help a small business, it's a trickle effect to other businesses as well. So, I thank the mayor and the city overall for the job that they're doing. I really see Hamtramck, even in population, increase more. The ethnicity here is tremendous. The growth that you guys experienced, and Wayne County has recognized that. And it is walkable. Maybe there's some issues with parking at times, but for the most part, when the weather permits, it is a walkable, shoppable city, if that's a word. So I'm going to turn it over to Ben. You want to say a couple words?
Thank you, Nasser. I think you did great. You did most of the talking, most of the things I'm going to say. Like Nasser mentioned, the Yemeni Chamber of Commerce, we're going to celebrate our special event, our 10th annual dinner this year. And also we are, going to announce soon the activities we're going to do with the SBA and SCORE to help small business with their resource educational business education. So if you're interested to join our Yemeni Chamber of Commerce, our brochure in the back, and you could reach out to me and my business card in the back, or Dr. Adnan Azizi Nasser. We'd be more than happy to help. And also I want to thank the Mayor Hamtramck with all the new improvement in the city, driving in the alley, see a new alley for the commercial, and hopefully we're gonna see it in the residential too. And also we're happy to see new businesses open in the city of Hamtramck, to see new people coming to the city. High demand in real estate, no vacancy, a lot of vacancy in the city. I'm a full-time real estate. My office I have right here from Hamtramck in Kinef, and also I have an office in Dearborn. But I'm not here to promote real estate, but I'm really excited to see the change in the city of Hamtramck. I've been doing real estate over 18 years. In the last 2-3 years, the value increased in the city of Hamtramck and the demand is high. So, thank you.
So briefly, before I introduce the next speaker, I just want to say, some of you are probably thinking, what is the DDA? And so Downtown Development Authority is kind of the representative. I think of it as the business association for businesses in the downtown district here. We meet on a monthly basis for about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes at City Hall. It's always the third Thursday of the month at 6 o'clock. We love people to come and join us during our meeting. It's a formal meeting that follows the Open Meetings Act, but we love to hear back from the public and from business owners in the city because we're here to serve them. So with that, I just want to mention one more thing. It's the fact that we have all these, so Hamtramck has a history. We all know that, 100 years. Hopefully for 100 more. But we have a lot of great businesses that have been here, as I mentioned before, for a long time. So we thought, let's highlight how we can move forward by bringing new resources. We all know the federal government has given out a lot of resources in the last few years. And our job, hopefully, will be to help facilitate these resources to come to Hamtramck. When you hear Wayne County, it always goes to the city of Detroit. The city of Detroit has big organizations, nonprofits that help facilitate those funds. Hamtramck, we don't. It comes to the city and the city department. CED has a lot of work on their hand, so we try to help facilitate whenever possible. With that, I would like to welcome Prosperous to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. First, want to start off by thanking the Downtown Detroit Development Authority, Hamtramck. It took me less than 30 seconds to screw up. Apologies, and the city of Hamtramck for having us tonight. How many of you, by show of hands, are familiar with Prosperous Detroit? Wow, that's cool. That's great. That makes up for that flow. My name is Matthew Byan. I'm the lending director at Prosperous Detroit. I've been with the organization since February 2013. I'm joined by my colleague Joanna Dewicki-Perez. She's the operations director. In short, Prosperous Detroit is a place-based economic revitalization strategy. We feel as though we can achieve that goal most effectively through entrepreneurship. So we have a 4-pillar approach to entrepreneurship. The first pillar is that we offer an entrepreneurial training program to both aspiring and existing entrepreneurs in Detroit, Highland Park, and Hamtramck. It's a 11-week program. The expectation is that the entrepreneur graduates with a business plan, or as I like to say, something that resembles close to a completed business plan, right? So all of the aspects, financial projections, market analysis, competition analysis, things of that nature, so that they can be prepared and ready to take the next step in terms of launching or expanding their businesses. In addition to that, we offer business services. Business services, I like to describe them as the soft cost of doing business. So if an entrepreneur needs support with accounting services, marketing, design, website development, industry-specific services. So if you're opening up a restaurant and you need to work with a consultant to walk you through the process of getting your standard operating procedures or getting your permitting with the city of Detroit, we can provide, or Hamtramck, or Highland Park. We're so used to doing this in Detroit. You have to, please forgive me. And so we will pair you with a provider, somebody who specializes in that field, and we will pay for those services on your behalf as an entrepreneur. So that's the form of a grant. We also have a microloan program. We are a CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution. We make loans up to $50,000, so those are traditional microloans. Our interest rate is fixed at 7%. Our terms range, the longest term is 60 months, 5 years. And so we work with entrepreneurs. We really will fund any kind of industry as long as it promotes a positive image, any type of use, so property acquisition, furniture, fixtures, machinery, working capital. If you need to support the cost of paying your rent for a short period of time or paying employees, we like to support entrepreneurs with those costs. We also like to work with entrepreneurs to help them stack capital. So if you feel as though you need more than $50,000, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We partner with Michigan Women Forward. They're another CDFI that does work in the ecosystem. Detroit Development Fund, Invest Detroit, SEED, the list goes on and on. We'll work with you to figure out how much capital you need and work with our partners to do our best to try to ensure that you can get that capital to be successful. We also offer financial coaching services. So one of the most common predicators of whether somebody will qualify for lending or not is their personal financial situation. We do soft credit pulls at Prosper Us Detroit, and so we want to, if people struggle with managing their personal finances, they may have poor credit and there's an opportunity to improve their personal credit, they'll work directly with a certified financial coach to get back on the right track so that they can be more competitive when they are ready to submit that loan application. And so that's just kind of a general overview of Prosper Us Detroit. Joanna just walked in the door 30 seconds before we got called up on stage. We are tabling in the back right here. Please feel free to come and chat with us. We want to be more active in Hamtramck, something we really strive to do. I should mention that from the lending perspective, we also offer a riba-free loan that is in accordance with Islamic law. So rather than providing that debt with interest, it's a profit-sharing mechanism. It's a tool that we created so that we can be as welcoming and conscientious of people's faiths and cultures as possible. So that's also something that we offer at Prosper Us Detroit. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, we appreciate it. Another quick highlight before I call the last table here is, as a DDA, we try to facilitate some of the concerns our business owners have. I know I don't have to say much, but everybody knows the parking was an issue in the past year and a half or so. We try, our board tries at the same time to walk a fine line. We don't want to overstep City Council's role, but as a DDA board, we do try to support our businesses. So we're happy to advise and give resolutions when needed. I do have to say the mayor's presence on the board makes a huge difference for us, so we do appreciate that. Again, we welcome all concerns. In the past 2 years, we hired a consultant to canvass our downtown area. We spent a good amount of money to figure out who our role players are. The DDA started in 2006, 2007, and our former DDA board did a great job up until this most recent year. So we figured, let's refresh, let's draw a new map, see who the stakeholders are, and go forward. So we do have a plan that we're working on, hopefully a 2 to 3 year plan. And I promise you'll see more DDA presence on the street. With that, I'd like to welcome Global Detroit.
Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing today? You know, it's really amazing how the circle of life can bring you to a certain point in your life. I was raised on Cherries between Nevada and, between 6 Mile and Jerome. My mom is 94, she'll be 94 years old, and she still lives in this community. I remember when I was younger, I don't know if many of you remember the Martha Washington Theater It was a theater that was right on the corner, I think, Kniff and Joseph Campo here. And I used to visit that particular theater when I was younger. And my grandmother used to bring me shopping up and down Hamtramck. And I'm glad to see that you guys are coming back. And you know, it's always been a great place for me. I've got great memories. And having the opportunity to work with Global Detroit was really a blessing in disguise, because Global Detroit is a regional community and economic development organization, and we make Detroit and Southeast Michigan prosperous by connecting immigrants who really helps to build communities, and we help them to develop business plans, and we connect them with partners who provide services to help them to develop and grow, lenders and people who can help them finance their business as well. And so I'm excited to be here tonight. I thank the city of Detroit for asking us to be part of this. It's my third month here, and I'm pretty excited about the opportunity. My background is in small business development. I've been doing it for many years. I've worked with SBDC for many years and other organizations. And we have a great team. We have Razul here, who is really I call him the assistant manager of Hamtramck, because he knows everybody. Not trying to take anybody's job, but he's a great networker, and he has been very valuable in showing me the ropes. And I really appreciate the team that we have. We have Scott here, who is a young man who has been very instrumental in building some of the seminars that we offer. We do virtual seminars because of COVID. It changed a lot of things, and it made it convenient for business owners to get information virtually. And so this is a wonderful time that we're living in, where we have the ability through technology to really make some great connections with different folks. And we're always looking for new seminars or different seminars to offer. So if you have any suggestions or ideas, we are connected with a lot of great partners, and they have great skills, and they can really provide the information that's necessary for you to grow your business. Well, I thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to add some with Basil. First of all, thank you DVA for arranging such a wonderful event. Thank you city manager and our current mayor, making a lot of progress in our city. As a Hamtramck resident, I support small businesses in Hamtramck, and we have a small office in Kniff now. It's a part-time office. So we actually work as a trusted connector. A lot of business owners, they don't actually know how to go to the service providers. We can make it easy for them, from their business, making their business plan to application readiness. So everything we can do it free. We have our accountant providing these services free. So please feel free to contact with us. We have a table here, have a chat with us, and thank you again for this great event.
What did I tell you?
Hello, welcome again. We're so happy to have you. My name is Carolyn Faulkner. I work for the city. I'm the Community and Economic Development Manager for the City of Hamtramck, and I'm also the DDA Manager for the City of Hamtramck. I have the pleasure of introducing our keynote speaker. His name is Dominic Romano. He's from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, or MEDC for short. So if you ever hear me say MEDC, it's Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Dominic is working hard behind the scenes in Hamtramck. You might not have met him yet, but he is assisting building owners and vacant properties to help bring them back to life and get them active and thriving again. I have shared about these programs that he's going to talk about with everybody that I can that has a good property for those programs. Well, I'm sure there's probably a few more I haven't shared with, but I definitely talk about it a lot. And honestly, if there was anybody that we could have had tonight as our keynote speaker, it would have been Dominic from MEDC, and he's here, so I'm very happy for that. So come on up.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. I want to thank the DDA, particularly Alessandro, Carolyn, Ahmad, Mayor, I appreciate you welcoming me to your community. It's an honor to speak to you today. I've always appreciated, I've always appreciated just the beautiful people of Hamtramck. I've spent many years here. I grew up in the area. I've lived in multiple places in the area. There's no other place on earth like Hamtramck. So it's an honor for me to be here and to talk to you about what we do. I am a Senior Community Development Manager for the MEDC. And you might be thinking, what is that? Is there a state community? It really is about kind of building the relationships locally and trying to be a partner from a kind of a high level. We're not on the ground, but we try to be. We have the staff all over the state that work with property owners, developers, business owners, nonprofits, local officials, elected and appointed from the villages, townships, cities, and counties, and regional planning organizations, you name it. And over the years, our main function has been to support property owners and developers in trying to reactivate properties or to better utilize properties that have challenges, like being blighted. Or maybe they're older and they don't serve the purpose they once did, they're functionally obsolete, they're historic, or maybe there's contamination. And in that regard, are much more costly to fix or to use in a better way. Okay, so we have staff across the state, like myself, who will talk to people. They may have already talked to a bank. They've already cobbled together some cash. They've talked to their local partners and maybe they're getting a little support from them. They've got plans. They're really excited about what they're doing, but they're 200 grand short. They're $1 million short. They don't know what they're gonna do. I've spent all this time working on this thing. What do I do? So hopefully, someone like myself has talked to those local officials and they say, hey, you know what, we should bring down to the table and see what we can come up with. Because my job really is to utilize tools, incentives that we have, grants and loans and other tools to fill the gap, to put something in that so they can finish that job, to get over the hump so we can get that property improved, get it to be used for better and higher use. So yeah, go ahead, that's great, thank you, appreciate it. So you've probably heard of the MEDC before. There's business development. They like to create jobs and attract big business. You probably see a lot of news headlines about Ford and Magna and all these big companies coming in and doing their thing. But then we also have promotion and marketing, Pure Michigan. Who doesn't know Pure Michigan, right? And hopefully they're coming through here and doing and highlighting, and actually I just saw a new video on our YouTube channel about the Hamtramck ball field, the historic ball field. It's beautiful. What a beautiful project, what a beautiful celebration of history. But then you also have efforts to create community development and how we make our places where we live, work, play, eat, get together with family and friends. How do we make them better? So we have our website that has tools and resources called MyPlace or miplace.org. On this website you can see things like programs, small business services, training and events, which actually relate to more what we like to call place-based businesses or micro-business, because we know that according to the Small Business Administration, small business can be quite large, actually, and it doesn't always translate on the ground level like what you see around here. All the beautiful businesses and the storefronts that line the great downtown of Hamtramck. So some of our programs, and the one, go ahead and hit the slide, is the Build My Community Grant Initiative. Okay, so this is something you may have heard of that's maybe happening around here, right? So really what this is let's say you're a business owner or you're just somebody who knows somebody who owns a property. And all of a sudden that property gets in your hands somehow. Maybe you inherit it. Maybe you're that business within that building and that building owner's selling it and you think, I could do this better. I could activate the floor above me and turn it into apartments. I could do something that will create an impact that's greater than just my business and improve my business at the same time. Now I know like some of the small business people might be thinking, it's a tall dream. It's hard work, but I think there's a lot of people around here who actually like hard work and have already done a lot of hard work in their life. Well, this program was based on the new developer, or what we call emerging developers. And a lot of it really stems from, also creating access to these opportunities for people who just haven't had that access before. Could be women, be someone from a different cultural background than we're used to. It could be a veteran. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to fill that gap with a tool that's a little bit easier to get to, because sometimes the tools that we have that are given to us by the legislature are really complicated and complex, and it took me like 1.5 years to learn some of the stuff that we have. It's that hard, and I do this every day. So I'll go ahead and hit the slide. So really what we're trying to do is, a lot of the smaller projects, I think this tool is really focused on a community like Hamtramck, because you don't have the super large projects. You have the right size, place-based, on the street, walkable, when you see it, type of business. It gives you a grant range from about $50,000 to $250,000, and it can help you fill that hole to get to that level where you can start to do the project, right? So to fix the property, to make it better. There's also some provisions in this grant that we reserve for places with populations of less than 15,000. There's some other things that we look at. Typically our tools are, you have to finish the project before you get the award. Now so you would say, well then how do I finish the award? How do I finish the project if I don't have all the money? Well, there's things like bridge lending, those sorts of things. However, in some very rare cases, we can maybe negotiate that you get a portion of that award during construction so that you get some relief. So you don't have to front all that on your own. And then once that project is complete and you get a certificate of occupancy, the rest of the award is given to you. Okay, so go ahead with the next slide. So how do you know that you're eligible? Well, I know this is probably hard to read, but really it is for anybody who has done less than 2 or 3 like commercial projects in their experience. Now, not everybody has the opportunity to do that. Sometimes it's that you know somebody and you can partner with them. Maybe you worked on a crew that did something and you have kind of that outside experience. Also we're looking at projects for locations that are within 5 minutes of the downtown. Well, in Hamtramck, every place is 5 minutes from downtown. Because the downtown is huge, right? Considering the space that normal downtowns in most Michigan communities cover, most of that 2.2 square miles is downtown. Which is awesome because it's very dense, walkable, justifies why we should be doing more business here, right? And it is really intended for activating or reactivating space. We're not looking at just something that improves the front of the building. We're looking for something that's going to really make a difference and an impact for that property. And it's not intended for single-family residential projects. It can be used for multifamily, though. So if you have a location that has 4, 5, 6 units in it, that'll work. Go ahead and hit that slide. So we look at a lot of project considerations. Most of this work is done in geographically disadvantaged areas, places of disinvestment. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to support communities that have not been supported before. And this is a little step that we can take to start the ball rolling, to hopefully do more, because it's needed. It supports region-wide economic development strategy. This is a place that touches on so many different communities, not just from a cultural standpoint, but socioeconomic, groupings of people that do similar things, or have musicians. I used to play in Hamtramck years ago in various venues around here. There's a very strong musical community surrounding this area. So we want to touch differing backgrounds of persons, so we're looking for how does this work. You're improving the place by doing more rehab, hopefully working on historic properties, that sort of thing, and really addresses improvements to places where they're more walkable. We're not always supporting motorized transportation, those sorts of things. So go ahead and hit that. So there's a lot of parameters that come along with these things, and this seems probably pretty daunting. These are a lot of things you probably can't read because it's kind of small. We do critically think about how a project will sustain itself over time. And we want you thinking that way too. Your investment of time and resources, the time away from family, the time away from friends, the time that you can relax, the time you can do your day job is really important. And so if you're going to take on an improvement, a project like this, it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be hard. But it's gonna be worth it in the end if you decide to do it. But think about doing it, and think about it. The one thing about this program that I really like is 10% of the award. So let's say you were doing a project and we were thinking about getting you a grant for $150,000 to fill that gap. You could also get $15,000 additional to get training to learn about how to be a better developer, to learn about how to do the financing, to how to work the contractors, and things like that. So there's an opportunity here to learn about what is this all saying to me? Returns, and the terms of financing, and construction costs, and all these things. Bottom line is, I am here. I know the people who work here. I am available to talk to people. I have cards. They know how to get a hold of me. Just call, email me. I will come here. I'm not that far. I live only in a little 15, 20 minutes away from here. I will come and I will talk to you. Go ahead and hit that slide. There's definitely a process to go through, timing-wise, and that's the same with all of our programming. I'm not going to bore you with that, so go ahead and hit that again for me. There are other tools that we use in projects. Sometimes the bigger projects demand more tools, and we can stack them. We can use multiple tools to support. The Build My Community Grant Initiative is actually born out of the Community Revitalization Program, which is much larger. The maximum cap on that program is $10 million in support, but that really is usually a fifth of what a project is. So you think about a fifth of what $10 million is, right? So, the Public Spaces Community Places program is for nonprofits and municipalities to apply to create better places, activating public space for the public good. You've probably seen things like murals, pocket parks, activating alleyway spaces for performance places, or outdoor gallery space for art. So that's a different way of supporting the community by doing more publicly accessible amenities for the community. I'll go ahead and hit that. So, over the last couple of years, and particularly accelerated by the pandemic, we realized that in Michigan, in downtowns and large commercial corridors or central business districts, there are over 117,000 micro businesses. Okay, we're talking the small businesses, 117,000. So when we were getting phone calls from business owners during the pandemic, crying on the phone because they were going to lose their business, we had $10 million initially to give to them to try to stop the bleeding. And it wasn't working. So it really did accelerate what we were all kind of seeing was that you can get the big business and attract big jobs, but you really do need to help those employers that employ, what is it, like 62% of all Michiganders by doing more. Okay, so we have a team now, the Small Business Services team, and on our website at miplace.org, there's a small business. Now there are resources for partners, there's resources for a program. There's a program that I'm hoping that more people will get involved in. It's called Initiate. It really is a resource that it's like over 300 different resources you can look at for marketing guidance, doing cash flow analysis, so if you, or break-even analysis, so if you're deciding how much do I charge for this product I just made, with all the bills and the people I have to pay, and at the end, am I making a profit or am I losing money? How do you do that? Well, there's a resource for that on there. So I would encourage you, I got cards, I'm happy to give out. He has our website, take a look, get familiar with it. There's also a long list of partners too, like SBDC and other partners, MSU Extension, that provide business services. Some of them actually provide business coaching. We're not going to be the experts, but we're going to try to connect, just like everybody else has said. There are people out there that can help you, and we want to help you get to those people. Go ahead and hit the other thing that we do on the website, next to small businesses on the upper right of our website, is training and events. We try to push out training and events that can be helpful, get people together, get people networking. I want to let you know that some of our local partners in the near future will be doing business support in other communities. We are also doing what we're calling the Emerging Developer Roadshow in the late summer. I believe that date is August 30th. It will unfortunately not be in the city of Hamtramck. It'll be in another Metro Detroit community, the city of Oak Park. Right now, that's the standing deal we've got right now. And really, it will be an opportunity for people who feel they may have an opportunity to create a better place in their community by improving property, but also meeting others who have the same idea. They can network with local officials, resource providers, consultants, other developers who have been emerging developers and know the pathway to success, and getting them talking to each other. And hopefully this and the other partner in the room, having these events where we can create these relationships and networks to keep the ball rolling, to make it better. So it's not just a few people making improvements, it's a community effort, being supported by community. So this is going to be really exciting. I'm really happy to be a part of it and planning that. If you want to go ahead and hit that. We're doing this work across the state. There are these 10 regions. In 2 of the regions, in Region 4 and Region 10, there's 2 of us. We work with each other. If we hear an idea that's working in Calumet all the way up in the Keweenaw Peninsula, then we're going to try to apply that here. It's not the same community. It's different. But they're going through similar things, and we want to make sure that everybody is getting a chance to learn and to share. If you have an idea or something seems like I'm thinking to myself, oh gosh, how do I do this? I have all these people I can talk to and more. So that's a great resource as well. So go ahead and hit that. Please feel free to reach out to me. I will say this as a closing. I am here from the State Economic Development Corporation. My job is to support the local economic development efforts. So if we're not talking in that kind of three-way form, city, me, you, it's not going to work. We need to be at the table together. We need to be talking and on the same page. And sometimes it's more than just the three of us. Sometimes there's 10 of us. And that's okay too. Because then that just brings more ideas, more energy, more support, sometimes more funding. So talk to your city, talk to your officials. You got a great place here. There's a great staff. Take advantage of it. They're great partners. We heard from all of them. And it sounds like they have services too. Take advantage of it. You'll be better for it. And if it doesn't apply to you, maybe it'll apply to somebody else and you can help and say, hey, these guys know what they're talking about. So thank you so much for your time. I'm really honored to be here, and have a great evening, and I hope to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the speakers who are here. Thank you to all the attendees who came to connect and to learn. I do want to give a couple shout outs. One is to Alessandro, who planned 95% of this event. He did so much work, and I'm just so happy, and I just had to give a shout out to him. But there were lots of people involved. Tim Price did social media. Good Done Daily did all of the print graphics. If you're like, wow, that's great graphic design. Well, that's Good Done Daily. Many people from the DDA volunteered. Some people who aren't even on the DDA volunteered. So I just want to encourage everyone to stick around and mingle, eat, food, talk to the people who spoke, and ask them questions about your ideas or your business. And whatever you are trying to do or have done, you can speak with the speakers about those things.
Thank you. Thank you all. We'll wrap it up. I just want to say, try out food. It's local made, all from Hamtramck restaurants. So great stuff up here. I do want to recognize Councilman Nelson Mary. Thank you for joining us today. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Thank you all. One last comment. Sorry. Dominic said a great thing at the end. And I try to do this when I serve on these nonprofits, even though I own a business in the city. When you support your neighbor's business, it benefits you, even if it's the same item. When I was 10, I told my dad there's a business opening down the street. He said, do you trust me? I said, yeah. He said, our business is going to increase. Yeah. One and one didn't add up for me. But as I saw more, as I grew up, the more businesses open, even if they sell the same items, it benefits everybody. So think of that when you see these resources. They're not beneficial to you. Think of your neighbor, please. And thank you.